Y'all, stop what you doing, because this right here is the moment that stopped the music, literally. So, the courtroom was already thick with tension. Reporters buzzing like flies on a carcass, lawyers pacing, and everyone whispering about a mystery witness who might testify that day in the Diddy trial. But no one, and I mean absolutely no one, was ready for her. The doors opened and in walked Britney Spears. And not the sparkling choreographed pop queen we remembered from the VMAs. No, this was someone different. Fragile but powerful. Nervous but unstoppable. Her heels clicked softly against the floor. Her blonde hair was slightly tousled, her face bare of glam, but her aura, it was screaming survivor. Even the judge looked up in surprise. Diddy's lawyers panicked. Total chaos behind those smug expressions. Diddy leaned over to whisper frantically to his attorney like a man who just saw a ghost. And Britney, baby, she didn't even glance at him. She sat down, folded her hands in her lap, and spoke into that mic. Her voice, a little shaky, yes, but clear, calm, angry, human. I was told to stay quiet for most of my life. I was told it was for my protection, but that wasn't true. And now I'm done being quiet. And boom, the entire courtroom froze. The pens stopped scribbling. Cell phones stopped buzzing. Every person in that room knew this was about to be historic. Britney started with the night. You know the one. The night before the 2007 VMAs. A night that was supposed to be her comeback, but she claimed it was anything but. I went to a party thrown by Sean Combs. I was told it would be safe, but it wasn't. She told the court it was a setup. A trap wrapped in champagne bubbles and designer lies. She recalled Diddy smiling at her as he handed her a drink. Just one, he allegedly said. You'll be fine. But it wasn't fine. Britney said the moment she took that sip, her entire world began to blur. My thoughts slowed down. I remember lights, laughter, and then nothing. And the next morning, she wasn't just hungover. She was disoriented, detached, broken. But the show had to go on. Her team shoved her toward the VMA stage anyway. They told me I was fine, but I knew I wasn't. That night broke something inside me. Britney called it what she believes it was, a humiliation ritual, a planned takedown. She even said Diddy was watching it all unfold and enjoying it. She described the setting, pure nightclub, Caesar's Palace. Cassie was celebrating her 21st birthday. Diddy was working the room like a dark puppet master, and the cameras flashing non-stop. Britney said he was unusually attentive, kept offering her drinks, kept watching her. It felt like I was being paraded around like a lamb before the slaughter. And then came the name drop that made the courtroom gasp. Robin Greenhill. Britney remembered her face, said Robin was the one who ushered her into a VIP lounge where everything went black. And this is the same Robin Greenhill now named in a lawsuit tied to Diddy's sex trafficking network. Chills, I trusted them. I didn't think I was in danger, but I was set up. Now fast forward to VMA Day. Britney said she was dizzy, could barely stand. Her mind still foggy from the night before. And then they handed her that costume. You remember the glittery bra and black shorts that were endlessly mocked in the media? Britney said that wasn't what she picked. I said it didn't fit. Someone told me, just wear it, you're fine. But she wasn't. She got pushed onto that stage half aware of her own body. And when the music started, she froze. I could barely move, and they knew I wouldn't be okay. That was the point. It was engineered, she insisted. Diddy, sitting in the crowd, wasn't confused. He was satisfied. The aftermath was immediate. Headlines called her Her dad started making calls. Enter Lou Taylor and Larry Rudolph. The conservatorship talks started within weeks. They said I needed help, but they didn't help me. They locked me up. Britney claimed this was a premeditated takeover of her life, a corporate coup dressed as concerned. And then she said it. Lou Taylor and Diddy knew each other, came up through Uptown Records. They moved in the same shadows. I didn't just end up with the same team, I was handed to them. She even showed a screenshot from a Hollywood Reporter article to prove the Diddy-Lou connection. The entire courtroom was shook. Britney said she was moved around like property, first to the Caribbean, then Malibu, then locked in her house, medicated, watched, silenced. Well, they said I needed structure, but they were rehearsing my imprisonment. Her voice cracked, but she kept going. She testified that she didn't even sign off on most of the things they claimed she consented to. Once they handed her a form with TriStar's logo and told her to sign for her safety. She did, and the next day, the conservatorship began. I wasn't protected, I was in prison. She alleged hundreds of thousands of dollars were moved from her estate, straight to TriStar. And guess who was in the email threads? Diddy's financial advisor. Ask yourself why my money was connected to the man who gave me that drink. Britney then dropped what might be the most disturbing revelation of all. They were recording her. There were cameras in every room, even my bedroom. She said her iCloud was mirrored, her iPad locked if she Googled her name too many times, and she was told by staff that the tapes were for her safety. But she knew better. They were collecting proof of my weakness so they could keep me quiet. She said even the VMA rehearsal where she broke down in tears and said, "I can't do this," was taped. Used as proof she was unstable. But the most jaw-dropping claim, Britney says there is footage of the party, of the moment Diddy handed her that drink. It was never destroyed. It was stored, filed, like insurance. She said a former TriStar employee, an anonymous whistleblower, told her directly that footage exists, not just of her, of other girls too. They filmed girls at parties, in bathrooms, and Diddy had access to all of it. She called them insurance reels. Evidence not just for humiliation, but control, power. I didn't walk out of that club, I was led out. And then it happened. She pulled out a wrinkled, handwritten letter, a note she wrote in 2009 but was never allowed to send. I wrote this to Diddy. I was 27. I was still trying to understand why someone I barely knew ruined my life. She read it aloud. The courtroom was dead silent. I hope it was worth it, whatever they promise you, because you helped them hurt me. You knew I was being set up, and you smiled. Britney looked at the judge, then the jury, then directly at Diddy. I'm not crazy. I was caged. They said I was unstable, but I wasn't breaking. I was screaming. She testified how her money was funneled to people with ties to TriStar, to Diddy, to the very people who drugged, surveilled, and broke her. I lost $100 million, 0 cents while locked in that cage. She said she was told to stay quiet or she'd disappear again. But now, I want my kids to know the truth. Their mother wasn't a failure, she was framed. And with that, Britney Spears stood up and walked out, not as a pop princess, but as a warrior. Diddy, he didn't say a word. For the first time in his life, the cameras weren't his to control. They were pointed directly at him. And honey, let's talk about Diddy's face for a second. Because while Britney was pouring her heart out, dragging skeletons out the closet and shaking the courtroom to its core, Diddy sat there stone-faced. Not a twitch, not a blink, not a single reaction. Some thought he was stunned. Others said he was trying to keep his composure, but insiders in the courtroom whispered something else. He looked like a man who just realized his empire was on fire. And honestly, it was. Because Britney's testimony didn't just call him out, it connected the dots. Lou Taylor, Robin Greenhill, TriStar, and that now infamous champagne flute. Each piece painted the same picture. Diddy wasn't some bystander. He was, in Britney's words, the architect. The fallout started immediately within hours of Britney leaving that courtroom. Fans flooded social media with hashtags like Britney told the truth, Diddy exposed, and justice for. But guess who didn't say a word? Hollywood. Not one big name celeb stepped forward. Not one industry head sent support. Nothing. Dead silence. And baby, silence is loud, because behind that silence is fear. Fear of what else might come out, who else might be named, which tapes might surface next. And don't forget, Britney said this wasn't just about her. They filmed other girls. Here's where things get even messier. Sources close to Britney's camp say she's preparing to hand over even more evidence. Emails, documents, whistleblower testimony, and yes, She wants those tapes unsealed. According to one leak, there may be footage of what happened after she left the nightclub, footage allegedly too disturbing to show in court without redaction. If that video goes public, said one insider, Diddy's done forever, and Britney is pushing for a criminal investigation into how her conservatorship was launched and who profited from it. Names are going to fall hard. Throughout her entire testimony, Britney kept returning to one theme: her children. She said everything she endured was used to take them away from her. The photos, the staged meltdowns, the distorted videos. They told the world I was unstable so they could rip my babies away. And now she's fighting not just to reclaim her narrative, but to make sure her sons know it. I want them to know their mom didn't disappear. She was stolen, and now she's back. Y'all, goosebumps. So where does that leave Diddy? He's already knee-deep in multiple lawsuits. The Little Rod case, the trafficking accusations, the bank records, the yacht parties. And now, a federal courtroom just heard Britney Spears say under oath that he sabotaged her career and helped lock her in a 14-year prison. And baby, the feds are watching. Insiders claim that DOJ officials were present during her testimony. One even took notes the entire time. Let that sink in. They knew this wasn't just tabloid gossip. It was a roadmap to organized abuse. With Britney's words echoing through every media outlet, people are finally asking, who else? How many other stars were managed by TriStar? How many other women were drugged, filmed, humiliated, and locked away? And Diddy? His name is at the center of it all. The whispers are growing louder. It wasn't a freak accident. It was a formula. Break them down publicly, then take control. Britney wasn't crazy. She was chosen. Britney Spears ended her testimony like a woman finally holding the pen. She didn't sob. She didn't scream. She testified. As a woman, as a mother, as a survivor. For 14 years, I begged for someone to listen. Now you have. Don't look away again. And with that, she walked out. No security entourage, no flash bulbs, just her with her head held high. And Diddy, still speechless. For once, the mic wasn't in his hand. Let's not downplay what just happened. Britney Spears, the same girl they mocked for shaving her head, just burned down a legacy built on abuse and silence in a federal courtroom. And she named names, she showed receipts, she stood her ground, and now the world is catching up. The headlines no longer read Britney breakdown, they read Britney fought back. Sources say this is only the beginning. More witnesses may follow, more victims may come forward, more celebrities may find themselves on the wrong end of subpoenas. And the footage, if it ever leaks, Hollywood better buckle up, because Britney Spears just kicked open the door and she's not walking back through it alone. Final word, the curtain is down. As the courtroom emptied out, you could feel the shift. No more glitter, no more illusion, just truth. For the first time in 20 years, Britney Spears got to tell her story, and she told it in front of a judge, a jury, and the man she says orchestrated her downfall. You smiled when I was being destroyed, she said, but now you don't get to hide behind your champagne. You don't get to hide at all. Diddy didn't flinch. He didn't move. Because what could he say? The curtain's down, the lights are off, and the truth just stole the stage. Gossip, exposed, shook. Stay tuned.